Yeah, hey! Hello everyone. Thank you for coming out, taking this hour out of your day. I'm going to let the show speak for itself, the show's creator. I'm going to introduce Dennis here. And don't forget, though, before they come up, visit Disenchanted-discount for a Googler exclusive discount that gets you like some extremely discounted, very inexpensive tickets for this amazing, hilarious show. So make sure to check that out. So without further ado, here to introduce the cast of the hilarious hit musical Disenchanted, now in performances at the West Side Theater upstairs on West 43rd Street. Please welcome Disenchanted's author and composer, Dennis Giacino.
Hey everybody, thank you. Thanks so much for spending some time this afternoon with us. That's the director of the show, Fiely Matias. He helped me co-create the show. With a GoPro, of course. And so I'm going to introduce you to some of the ladies who are going to sing with us today. But let me tell you about the show real quick. So the show Disenchanted is about the original fairy tale princesses from the old storybooks who've really kind of had it up to their crowns with the way that they're portrayed in today's pop culture as helpless damsels in distress, specifically the Disney films. So they've come to life. They've come out of the storybooks and onto the Off-Broadway stage to tell the truth about happily ever after. They bippity-boppity bust out a little princess show of their own. So before we get into the show, let me introduce some of the folks who are going to sing for you today. Let's see. First off, we have our Princess Who Kissed the Frog. That's Karen Burthwright. Right after her is our little mermaid, Alison Burns. And then, of course, we have Erin Leigh Peck, who we're going to talk about. She plays a whole slew of princesses in the show. And, of course, our Mulan, and that's Lulu Picart. Great. Over at the piano is Michael Raby on the keys. We're here all week. Try the veal. Okay, so the show itself, you know what it's about. Let's talk about how we came up with it. So I used to be a history teacher, and I used to teach about Pocahontas all the time in American history to little 7th and 8th graders. Thank God I'm not doing that anymore. No, it was fun. And it was great. It was great. Never grow older. You're so cute now. So I taught history, taught about Pocahontas, and the real Pocahontas in history, about the time she supposedly met John Smith. She was 10 years old, and she was a little tomboy. And then, of course, out came the movie, the Disney movie in 1995, and there was Pocahontas. You know, and she was all growed up and all growed out, and she was about 20-something years old, and she was leaping and doing swan dives off waterfalls, and leaves were following her everywhere. And I thought, I wonder what the 10-year-old tomboy, the real Pocahontas, thinks about this Pocahontas up on the screen. And so I wrote a song. And I started to wonder, and Erin's like, that's the name of my song. I wonder, I'm up now. And so I started to wonder, what would the other princesses from the Disney movies, from the original fairy tales, think about their counterparts in the Disney movies? Look what the director does. He moves a mic stand. And
it's really great. You can't even see him.
$3,000 a week.
How did that get there?
So I started to wonder, what did the other princesses think? And here's Erin Leigh Peck. One thing you should know about Erin Leigh is Erin Leigh Peck plays, let's see, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, The Little Mermaid, Rapunzel, and Belle.
Bing.
She understudies all of those. She's learned every one of those roles in the show. She's a superwoman, and she's going to sing a song.
Congratulations for doing your job, Erin.
That's right. She's going to sing a song called I Wonder, which sort of sums up how I came up with the show. Here she is, Erin Leigh Peck, and I Wonder.
Princesses in castles, wearing ball gowns with tassels. No fuss, no hassles, no growing old. My days filled with laughter, living happily ever after. A prince of my She only met one page before. Oh, I just wonder if they're living happily ever after. I wonder if Cinderella still goes to the ball. I wonder if she finds the time to give her fairy godmother a call. Is she living like a queen? Is she skinny, fat, or in between? Oh, I wonder if she still has to cook and clean. I wonder if Snow White is still the fairest of them all. I wonder if beauty remains after the ball. And what happens when the fairy tale comes to an end? Oh, I wonder if they're living happily ever after. I wonder if Belle still likes to read books, or if Sleeping Beauty has still got her looks. I wonder if the mermaid is contented and complete, or does she curse the day she got those feet? I wonder if those girls were standing here right now, would they like the way that they're portrayed, or would they try to change those films somehow? Are they willing to protest? Oh, that they're more than damsels in distress, with the cleavage Disney stuffed into their gowns. I wonder, would they go on strike or just turn in their crowns? I wonder, and I wonder if they're living happily ever after. Well, wonder no more, because Disenchanted is here to tell you the truth.
All right. Erin Leigh Peck, terrific, great. Now, of course, one such princess that I wondered about, of course, was the Little Mermaid. Now, her story, all the way back in Hans Christian Andersen books, right? She starts out as this little teenage girl who swims around under the ocean, and she decides to give up one day her father, her fin, even her voice, all her friends, just to net a man. And that man happens to be in love with somebody else, who he falls in love with her, and then she decides, oh, well, I got to get rid of that girl. So she decides, I want to kill that girl, and she goes to try and kill that girl, but then decides she's going to kill herself instead, throws her overboard, and throws herself overboard and drowns in the ocean and becomes sea foam forever and hovers over him like a stalker. Yeah, so no, it's not a Lifetime movie. It's actually a Hans Christian Andersen story. So I decided that was a bit much. And Disney kind of kept true to most of that about this girl who gave up everything she had just to get a guy. Now, we've all been in relationships and we kind of do that, right? And we give up a little bit of ourselves. So I decided I wanted to write this song about the Little Mermaid who gave up her father, her fin, and her voice just to get a dude, and then started to regret the choices that she made. It's in a song called Two Legs. And here's Alison Burns. Yes, I decided also that I was going to take the mermaid in a different direction. So I was going to make her sort of trailer trashy and from the South. And
I was typecast.
Yeah. She's from Tampa. So, so here's Alison Burns, a little tipsy, singing the Little Mermaid song called Two Legs.
Yeah. All right, so you can keep vamping. Thank you. I've been quiet a long time, right? Took the voice. But now I got a lot to say. Long ago, when I was just a glimmer in my parents' eyes, girls like me never dared step out of line. Then I came along, this teenage boy, crazed swimmer with the flirty eyes, a spoiled problem child, a headstrong bride. Then one night a stormy sea tossed the ship about. A handsome prince fell overboard, and I gave him mouth to mouth. From then on I was hooked, and I knew this rebellious daughter would walk among the world to bear a red-headed bipedal fish out of water. Oh, two dump my 6-inch heels to jump back in with the moray eels. Too late to turn back now. I can't believe I swapped the 7 seas for a prince and a pair of these. Now don't get me wrong, I love my husband dearly with all my heart. I'm just wondering if I made a foolish trade. Handing in my mermaid fin was clearly not that smart, 'cause now I gotta spread these to get laid. Oh, her legs are inconvenient, gotta shave them twice a week, and I find I have to cross them or else I'll give the boys a peek. And her feet require tending, 'cause they blister up and crack. I wish to dance and bicycle, but after both my arches fell, I wish he'd throw me back. Oh, too late, too many. I'd happily ditch these nicks and scabs to spend my life with the horseshoe crabs. Too late to turn back now. I can't believe I swapped the 7 seas for a prince and a pair of these. Now I despise having flabby thighs, and I'd give them up with glee if I knew I could go back to 20,000 goddamn leagues underneath the sea. Too late. It's too many. I'd freely trade my bathroom scale to dive and breach with a humpback whale. Too late to turn back now. I'd easily jump these pantyhose for the smell of flotsam in my nose. Too late to turn back now. I can't believe I swapped the 7 seas for a prince and a pair of these. Now I'm down on my knees. I pray someday that I'll swap these and return to the 7 seas. 7 seas.
Alison Burns.
Yeah!
Yes. Our tipsy little mermaid. Well, as you can tell, this isn't quite the Disney movies, right? Very good. By the way, Alison plays 3 roles in the show. She plays the Little Mermaid. She also plays Belle from Beauty and the Beast, who sings a song called Insane because she talks to inanimate objects and, I don't know, a little bestiality. Yes. It's all from Tampa. And and then, of course, she also plays Rapunzel, which is our German princess in the show. So Alison Burns, we love her. Okay, so, there are a whole slew of princesses who have a bone to pick in our show over at the West Side Theater. They have a bone to pick with our old buddy Walt. All of them are ready to go all Norma Ray on his ass, right? And so one such princess is The Princess Who Kissed the Frog. Disney finally came out with a movie. After making movies about cars and bugs and toys, they decided, hey, now it's time to make a movie about an African-American princess. And so it was called, I think, The Princess and the Frog. Is that right? We call ours The Princess Who Kissed the Frog because in the Disney movie, this black princess spent most of the movie green. Because she was a frog. So, hey, wait, great, terrific. So we decided, that's not really the right way to do it. So we decided we were going to make our African-American princess powerful, very empowered, and a lot of fun. So Karen Burthwright is going to sing in this song. It's a song called Finally. She'll be introduced by Erin Leigh Peck. Here we go.
It's so keen, it's downright swell that she's come to life through a magic spell. It's a well-told tale that we'd like to tell, and it stars me. Yes, it's taken time to see the light of a movie screen so big and bright. And even though I still sound white, free to be part of the royal menagerie. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome the princess who kissed the frog. When I was a girl, all I ever wanted to be was a storybook princess. When I was a baby, I hoped and prayed maybe I'd be a storybook princess. I had a dream to be part of that team, and better late than never, that's a fact. And now I am that storybook princess that's finally gone black. Well, Google, guess what, honey? I'm here and ain't going to place. How you doing? Honey, Google me, look me up, I'm a big deal. Clap on the 2 and 4, people, here we go. It's about time that they let this girl rhyme so I could be a storybook princess. Why'd it take them so long to give a sister a song? Look at me! I'm that storybook princess. It's been hundreds of years, but at last it appears there's a new girl in town, and baby's got back. Ow! I am that storybook princess that's finally gone black. Oh, yeah. They made movies with toys, bugs, and cars, and that annoys me. Where was my storybook princess? I've been waiting around, and now I've broken new ground. Holla! I'm that storybook princess. I went from book to theme park, now I'm making my mark. And child, there's no turning back, 'cause I am that storybook princess that's finally gone black. Yeah! Now I'm sure it took persuasion to draw me darker than Caucasian. I'm not dense, it's dollars and cents. My plush dolls wouldn't hit the rack unless it made good business to bet on black. Bet on black. All right, ladies, what we gonna talk about here? You know it. No way. Bet on black. Woo! Yeah. It's been 100 years strong to get a Snow White with soul. Check her out. I'm that storybook princess. Now I'm painting the town, the fairy tale Jackie Brown. Watch out. She's that storybook princess. Now I've arrived on the scene. Look for Snoopy and Queen. And though getting with the frog is kind of whack. Whack-a-whack. I am that storybook princess that's finally now this girl from the hood moved on up, she done good. And Miss Roberta ain't taking no flack. But I got this. I am that storybook princess that's finally getting a mold with a drawbridge and bow. But I'm keeping my pink Cadillac. Hey, she is that storybook. She is that storybook. She is that storybook princess that's finally gone black. That's finally gone black. That's finally gone black. She's so black.
Karen Burthwright. So those are just a few of the songs, actually, from the show. It's a fun show. It's 90 minutes, no intermission. We're over at the West Side Theater. Thanks to Erin Leigh Peck today, Lulu Picart, Alison Burns, Karen Burthwright, Michael Raby, and where's Alan? I think we have a Q&A that comes up where you can ask us anything about the show. All right, here he is.
This isn't over. Yeah, so the show, gosh, why you wrote Disenchanted, it all came from your ex-history teacher. Why were you originally persuaded to go from teacher to playwright or songwriter?
Oh, it's a really kind of weird story. I was teaching one day, and was very good friends with the person in the room next to me. And her husband came to school one day just to pick her up and say hello and stuff. And he heard me teaching, and he said, "Hey, I think that guy could be a voiceover artist." This is how it happens, right? And so there I was teaching probably about Pocahontas, and I got discovered. I don't know. Before I knew it, I was in a booth recording commercials for Bank of America, sorry, and life insurance, and I was always the voice of that guy. Hey, I just got back from Hawaii. It was a great time. So I was the cheesy voice, and so I went into voiceovers, which brought me into New York City, and that's how I fell in love with theater and started to write. It was embarrassingly good money, but soul-sucking. So that's when I moved on to writing. So you do voiceovers, don't you? Everybody does up here.
Yeah.
So so that's that you don't do really good money.
No.
Nice work if you can get it.
Nice work if you can get it. 10 minutes and lots of money.
So the show, so it started out in the New Jersey Playwrights Contest in '09, sold out performances in 2011 in the Orlando Fringe Festival, and then, then had a limited run Off-Broadway last year, correct, right? And so now you're back, open-ended run, right? Yeah. So that's wonderful. Lulu, you've been in it since the beginning.
True.
3+ years.
And so how has the show more than 3, but good. So how's the show changed for you, or have you seen the show change over the 5+ years?
It changes from night to night. However, I have been really lucky because normally as actors we don't get the chance to go from A to Z with a show. You usually stay in for a little phase of it, and you're lucky enough to have that, and then you may come in and out of a show wherever it is, but because I've been in with the beginning with Dennis and Fiely, we've changed cast sizes. Songs have gone away. Songs have come back. We didn't have costumes. Now we have costumes. We used to have Dennis at the piano by himself in the back, and now we have like a band and music on paper. I mean, it's like we're in the big time now. So yeah, not to lie, we started out making $40 a weekend with the show, 25 a show. It was awesome. My parents are very proud. I'm still paying off college, and now it's really wonderful to come to New York. We're in an open-ended run, which means that basically they'll run it until they can't. We don't have an end date to it, which is a lovely thing. It means that there's a lot of faith with the producers and with the public and the ticket sales. So to go from A to Z is a luxury for an actor that doesn't always happen.
And can we say that she has gone all the way from the Orlando Fringe to being nominated for a Lucille Martell Award this year for this very role?
Hey!
Congrats.
Thank you.
So when Michael, the music director, and Fiely, actor-director, you direct the music, he directs the actors. When and how did you guys come on board?
You first. I've been on board since we've been working together for over 20 years. So we've created shows, and this was a show that we created about 5 years ago. So that's it.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And I came on board for the last out-of-town tryout in Tampa. They did a production before coming to New York here, and it was great meeting Dennis and Fiely right away. I'd worked with Lulu before in some shows, and actually Alison as well. But I loved the show. I'd seen the show before I came on board and fell in love with it, and they asked me to come on board and to come to New York too, and it's been thrilling. It's such a wonderful score, and it's a lot of fun to do every night.
So, okay, name all the princesses for me. There's Snow White and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. I'm trying to remember which names I could say and which ones I can't for copyright reasons.
You can't say Ariel or Tiana.
Right. You just did.
Which you just
We did, but you can't.
TM.
We'll have to bleep those out in the recording, I guess. Okay, so there's those three who are like the MCs of the show. Why is Snow White like the ringleader?
Oh, well, she was the first Disney princess. So all the way back in the 1930s, 1934, 2, something like that. And so I thought that has to be my ringleader when I write the show. She was the first. Cinderella was the second, so she's always playing catch-up to Snow White and thinks she could do Snow White's job, but can't quite. She's a little ditzy. And then the third, of course, was Sleeping Beauty, and that's sort of the pecking order as we go in through the show. Those are our main 3 characters, and then they introduce these this host of crazies in the show, and that each one of them, one at a time, with Snow White at the lead, they sort of take on the princess complex. You know, this age-old idea where, you know, unless you're pretty and a Bambi-like waif and a helpless damsel in distress, you're not actually valid. And I thought, well, that's fine. If you want to be that way, that's okay. You can be a Disney princess. I just wanted everybody to know that there are alternatives to that. And so we tackle a lot of issues in this comedy. You know, issues of sexual identity, of race and color, body image, and thought we would put a layer of comedy over that to make it entertaining, with Snow White at the lead, saying no to the princess complex. Yeah, that's how Snow White became the leader of this gang. She was first.
So you mentioned, it was surprising, you just said that there were princesses that were in the show and now aren't. There were songs that were cut. This gets later on in what I'm going to ask you, but what did you cut? Like, because you included so much, and I feel like, you know, Lulu would have fun doing all of them.
True.
Thank you. I hope that you come to my New York Fringe Festival one-woman show next year where I do all the princesses. I'm just kidding. No, actually, we didn't really cut that much material song-wise, correct? Like, what we did is we started out with a cast of 11 women, and they reduced the cast for production purposes, and so therefore, Alison and I play 3 characters each. So that's kind of how it got reduced, but still managed to cover the same amount of ground. Am I right about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, before it ever reached a stage, there were songs that we had written. We had other princesses in there that weren't really princesses, but they were part of the Disney oeuvre. So we had Jane Porter, who sang a song with Belle called Beasts of Burden, about the men you fall in love with and why. Who knows? And that's a great song, but it's gone.
We also had Peter Pan. We had Tinkerbell. We had Peter Pan as a princess going, well, there's not going to be a princess show without me. So,
so right. We did. And so we had Tinkerbell at one point, and Esmeralda was in there at one point too. So we've fine-tuned the show and brought it to 6 actors with 10 characters. Yeah. I think now. So yeah.
So Alison, all your characters are like drunk or crazy.
Yes. It's the crazy track.
Yeah, Jordan, get that image ready. We pulled an image of her as Rapunzel off of the Facebook page. So yeah, you can throw that up there when you want.
The German princess.
Yes. So yes, this is her. I want you guys imagine this in light. Imagine this with costumes. Like the costumes in this show are incredible. Yeah, I told you, it came off the
little messaging.
This came off the Facebook page. We just ripped it off the internet.
Scares you.
Yeah, so you've got Belle, who's literally in a straitjacket.
Yes.
Who starts out getting rolled almost off the edge of the stage.
Yes.
In your chair. And then who's next? Then you got Mermaid who's got a wonderful wig and shaving cuts from not being able to shave your new legs.
Yes.
And then going to Rapunzel. And then Rapunzel, which looked like that, who is a dominatrix.
Yes.
There
she is.
Yes.
She's got a whip.
She does, and hair that stretches around the circumference, the equator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite character to play?
Oh, that's so hard.
You got to pick one.
But I feel like it changes every night. Because there's some nights that, like, for instance, Rapunzel really gets to talk to the audience, which I love.
Right.
I never know what's going to happen. And sometimes you have crazy people that will literally stop the show. And
so she divides up. It's a singing contest where she has.
Whoa! Spoiler alert.
My arms are just stuck like this. I'm sorry. Do you want? I can stop.
Nice recovery.
No, so she divides up the audience, and then so there is audience participation.
Yes, And depending on how much they've had to drink or
Like what is it's one red cent,
Yes.
not one red cent, not one red cent,
Yes.
right? Very, very dominatrixy. I assume that's how they all talk.
yes.
And
I did a lot of character research
typecast
In Tampa.
in Tampa.
in Tampa,
All of dominatrix.
Florida, where everything happens.
So what?
We love Tampa, by the way.
Like what is
Visit.
what is the craziest thing that, or a story or two, craziest thing
Okay.
that's happened?
There was one night at the old theater where a gentleman on the front row, I end the song, it's supposed to be over, and he stands up and went, "Not one red cent!" like right next to me. And if you see, I have in the picture a unibrow. And I decided to take the unibrow off and hand it to him. Like, if you would like to run the show, by all means, wear the unibrow. So that was, and then the other day, this gentleman, I don't know if you were there for this, but you'll love this. So, she's German. And I walk over and I happen to pick on a couple people in the audience. And I picked on this gentleman and told him to do something. And he looked at me and said, "I'm Jewish."
I don't know why you think I would love that.
Because you're a Jew.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so I lost it. Like, I'm very good at staying in that character, but not that time. He yelled that, and I was shaking, and I told him out loud, this is the first time I've ever been speechless. Yeah, it kind of stopped the show for a while. Everyone was laughing. Snow White walked off stage. I ended up throwing my, whip down and just turned, like, it was over. So things like that happen all the time. So all of you are going to come and be like, what can I do to mess her up?
Because the show is a conversation with the audience. These princesses come to life and they talk directly to you. There's no fourth wall in the show, so anything can happen. And every show is pretty much different. Yeah, so, and people come back 5-6 times because it changes every night based on what the audience gives us. So it's fun. Yeah.
Well, like Lulu, you've got improv experience. Says your credits. So
On your resume.
Okay.
So I'll just
It's on the screen now. Her resume.
buy tickets now. Yeah, we can switch back. That's fine. It's scaring me. It's scaring me. Yeah, she downed an airplane bottle before she came on. Yeah, so Lulu, you've got improv. I feel like are you going out of your way to try to make everyone crack every night? Because
are you asking me, am I putting out 100%? Like, what exactly is the question that you're asking? No,
do you give 110%?
well, to be honest, I've been in this show for 3 years now. And so in order to make it fresh every day, it's not that you make a deliberate decision to change up what you do, but you have to make a deliberate decision to react to whatever happens. Especially since what Dennis was saying, we start the show off with a direct address to the audience. So when you see a normal play, you're having a conversation and you're the fly on the wall watching the conversation. In our show, you are part of the conversation. So if something happens from the audience, or if there's a reaction we've never gotten before, or if the laughter stops the scene, we have to realize that and make that part of the scene. So that in its own sense is where my improv training comes in. Because in improv training, whatever happens, happens. That's the reality. If it happens in the room, you accept it, you say it out loud. You say, oh yeah, you walked in through the door, and then you walk through the door. There's no negating anything that happens, which is a fantastic way to A, go through life, and B, go through this show. So that training, I am absolutely using it every single day.
That's a lot of fun, yeah. So Erin and Karen, the two of you are understudies for pretty much everybody, right?
No, not her, because she's black.
Yeah, so
Oh.
unlimited.
Hold on.
So she only covers the black girl.
Let me.
Oh,
No, she's our dance captain. If you couldn't tell,
She
this one
has
is our
to
dance
know
captain, and
all the
she
tracks.
teaches us how to crump and stuff.
Right. Okay. Well,
nice to meet you.
because she's from Tampa. So what is it like, I guess, Erin, for you, knowing you have to know, Karen, you know all the tracks.
I know everyone's track.
Dance tracks. Erin, you know everyone's vocal tracks. So there's dance tracks, there's vocal tracks. I guess, Erin, for you, which one do you enjoy going on for the most?
Well, I mean, the least.
Song-wise.
Right. Well, the one that doesn't scare me the most is the one I've done the most of, which is Snow White. Just I happen to have done the most shows as Snow White, so I actually have a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing when I step foot on stage. There has been a time or two when we were in the very early stages of production, and these ladies who do the show every night were rehearsing during the day and making changes to the show and doing it at night. And the understudies, we were just watching. We hadn't really been rehearsed yet, and we hadn't really learned anything yet. And I think, I'd been at work maybe 2 weeks and had to go on for Sleeping Beauty. And literally would go out, do a number, go off stage. This crazy one would meet me in the wings, teach me the next number, and then they would push me out there. I tried to protest, but they made me. And then I would go out there, do another number, and come back. So those kind of experiences make me a little trepidatious about certain tracks. But I think if I knew what I was doing everywhere and every second of the show, Cinderella would be my favorite, because Cinderella, the way that Dennis has written her, just can get away with anything because she just doesn't know any better.
Right.
And she sees the good in everything, including every single thing that she does herself. So I think that would be my favorite because she's the freest.
And to back up, that's great. Yeah, it's sort of like the Golden Girls or South Park. They can say anything because they're cartoons or mature women, and they just get away with it. That's very much the Cinderella. Karen has I think a great story to add on to this about the one night she went on as the Frog Princess. The Frog Princess got stuck in a train. And only in New York, and couldn't actually get to the show. You have to show up, I think, a half an hour beforehand, or you're out that night.
No, I had
she didn't
nothing.
have a nor did she have a costume ready. No. So tell us what happened.
So I don't know if you guys remember, I remember it well, December 11th, 2014. The day that the trains were a hot tranny mess and no one can get anywhere, that's the night in question. Yeah, absolutely, I did. Yeah, quote me. Ironically, we were in rehearsal process and Erin was going on for Snow White that night. So for the first time. So as the dance captain with this amazing cast and this amazing company, everything was geared to getting her prepped for that show because it was the first time anyone had gone on and we knew about it, which is what normally happens. So we had rehearsed, we'd done her put in that day, and of course I come to the theater for my girl, supporting, proud den mother, can't wait, focus, focus, focus. No makeup, backstage, doing the do, prepping her, half hour. Do you need anything, girl? I got you. You're gonna be fantastic. Put your wig on, I'm here for you, I'm not gonna get in your space, blah, blah, blah. Trains, no one can get anywhere. And even that day, I was later than I wanted to be. We set a time to get there, but it was really hard to get to work. So we get there, and people are coming late. The audience is delayed. It's that type of day. So our Joy, who plays the Frog Princess, is stuck in Queens. She lives at the border of Long Island and Queens, so it takes her 8 hours to get to work. And there's no express option for her, so she's stuck on the train. And just letting the stage manager know, but this is way before half hour because I was there early for her. Focus on her. Long story short, half hour comes, she's not there. Problem is, yes, she has a delayed entrance in the show, which is fabulous, but our union rules and the way we run this show, just for you guys in the audience, normally if none of you are in the business, if you're not there at half-hour call, that presents a problem because that's when you're supposed to be there to prep and everything can happen from there. So at half hour, I was like, well, to our stage manager, she's not here yet. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to get her stuff ready? In denial, because I teach, and those that can't do, teach. So in my head, I'm not going on. She's going to get here. What can I do to expedite that process once it happens? Actor's denial. So half hour was 7:30. She wasn't there. 7:45 comes around. He has to make the call now. So I'm sitting backstage, still prepping Erin for her debut as Snow White. We're waiting. She doesn't get there. 8:12. There's an announcement that goes over this backstage that I'm going on.
Did the show start at 8?
No, it was delayed because
delayed?
all audience members were holding because no one can get there on time. Everyone was delayed. So long story short, I'm like getting her ready. There's places, everyone's upstage. Nothing. Me, just normal clothes. My costume's in a bag with pins in it because of my fitting. All I did was try it on once, and there's pins everywhere to fit it, to make it whatever. So I'm going on. Lights go down. Dennis is in the audience, so he hears, as the writer, the creator of the show. Fiely actually wasn't there that night. Right. Dennis hears, sitting out in the audience, ready for the show to start. And at this evening's performance, the role by the Princess Who Kissed the Frog will be played by Karen Burthwright.
And I was like,
this is brand new.
I was like, what?
Like, not a clue. So
But
backstage.
she doesn't have a costume.
Yep.
I was homesick, and I get a text going,
Karen's in tonight. She doesn't have a costume, and we haven't rehearsed her. So,
Yeah, so it was.
You did it.
I did
and
something.
she
And
killed
the end
it.
of the story was she was amazing.
She was amazing. She was great that night. Yeah,
Amazing.
didn't miss a beat. Didn't
Anything
miss a
can
beat.
happen. This
Hymns,
business is full
everything.
of surprises. You know, like we all have firsts. So, right, and that helps in terms of whatever. But it was funny. I'm like, sorry guys, you're about to hear me warm up backstage, you know. And it happened. I'm sorry I couldn't watch Erin in her first performance. I was watching off stage when I could, but I was like, what are the words to my songs? What's happening? Where's my green eyeshadow? So it's an amazing show, and it's so much fun to play with these guys and just act the fool and make people laugh and bring these lyrics and these stories to life. It's so much fun, and it appeals to everyone. The cross section of our audience is unreal. There's like a 50-year-old drag queen. There's a straight couple. There's 300 gay couples. There's 300, tourists. It's like everybody.
And
it's
that's
great.
just on
Color.
stage.
And that's just on stage. Yeah, it's so much fun, you guys. It's so foolish.
So we have microphones in the aisles. If you guys have any questions for the cast, please hop up and ask.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. They don't bite hard. It's cool. So the characters, all of you have extensive resumes, and it's very impressive. And everybody's got roles that are very traditional and very like, there's a fourth wall, and we will not break it, and screw the audience. We are singing to each other. How is anybody? How are your roles now? Like, do you like it now different from the traditional sense of theater, or a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B? Anybody?
Oh, is that my?
Anyone?
I got it. I like both. As actors, we kind of get into this business because we like to experience different things. We like to live in different lives. We like to live in different stories. So this is wonderful. And normally we don't get to talk to the audience as an audience member, and you don't get to have that conversation. So that's wonderful. And since I have the improv background, that's home base for me. But I also love really boring plays where you sit in a room and just talk to somebody about life, and then you move to a different bench and you talk about life even more. Like, I love doing those plays too. The ones that my sister's like, great, can't wait to see you in that play. Oh, it was so interesting when you touched your face, when you felt something. So I also really love that, because as an actor, I crave those moments also. Come see the show.
Anybody else have anything to add to that?
One of the reasons I really love doing the show is because I'm a mom, and I've had to suffer through the princess complex and all of the marketing. Like, I remember my daughter, who's 11 now, actually was vehemently against anything princess. She took a very, very firm stand about it. And I was always like, it was a problem, because like, I need diapers, but the only diapers literally at the store all have princesses on them. I need a bowl, a fork. Like, I couldn't buy anything that didn't have a princess or Dora on it. And it's really hard to avoid all of it. So to be able to come out on the other side now, and she's a young lady, and be able to do a show that makes fun of all of those images, it's really fun. I get a little bit of a little evil delight from it.
Well, that leads me to, I guess, the true message of the show is kind of like, we don't, the women are strong. We don't need no stinking men. The princess complex is really like unnecessary in today's day and age, right? So with your two daughters, right?
No, I have a son and a daughter.
Okay, so
he likes princesses. He's completely into it. He thinks it's awesome that mommy plays a princess. She's like, really?
So does your daughter get the show? Does she get the message behind the show?
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I mean, look, our show is very PG-13. It's not a kid's show, and I would say that my uber mature New York 11-year-old is probably the border of about how young a kid can be to see it. But I was very excited to share it with her, because the message is ultimately so positive. It's such an empowering message about girls and getting away from this image of the damsel in distress, and empowering yourself to be what you want to be, and not having to fit into a preordained mold physically or emotionally. And yeah, we tell a lot of dirty jokes to get there, but I think that, the value of live theater outweighs that. So I was really excited to share that with her.
That's really cool. I'm going to shift gears for a second real quick in the final moments we've got. So Michael, you're kind of your own character off to the side of the stage. So in the show itself, like there's the audience, and we're looking at the stage, and then tucked off to the corner where you can see them and they can see you is Michael playing his keyboard over there. And they interact with you nonstop through the show, just like everybody else. Is that kind of thing new for you?
Oh no, I have like a lot of cabaret background where I'll play and sing too. But it's such they're talking about doing the show every night. It's such a thrilling aspect for the musicians too, because every night's a little bit different, and we roll with the punches too. And we're in there. I play slide whistle as well. So yes, So. But yes, it's yes, yes. A lot of training for that. But no, it's a lot of fun every night, and all the girls you're always on the edge of our piano bench, waiting to see what happens each night. And there's a bass player and a drummer as well, and we're having a great time.
So where are they? They're not on stage.
They're in the back of the stage. Yes.
Really?
So we have a little video camera, so they see me and I can talk to them.
They're in their pajamas, just.
Yeah.
Video conferencing, work from home in your underwear, right? Yeah, question.
Awesome, yes.
Hey, so the show sounds awesome. I can't wait to see it myself, and I can't wait to take my kids to see it someday. But what are the plans for the merch? The books and the action figures and all that stuff. When's it gonna happen?
T-shirt.
I want an Alice.
Did you say action figures?
Yeah, action figures.
I want an Alice and Rapunzel
Princess
action figure.
Yes,
Right?
one that where you pull the Rapunzel hair and it just keeps getting longer.
Amazing.
Merchandise. That's a funny subject because we just started it, right? So we of course have these T-shirts, which this logo here was created by Frank Fravor, who did the Lion King poster. The yellow and black one that you see everywhere, and he's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of a fun sort of loving poke at Disney, almost a personal roast that they have a good time with, right? So of course there's merchandise. It is a princess show after all, and so there are mugs and T-shirts and magnets, tiaras if you want to wear those, because again, we're not trying to say in the show that you have to be this type of princess. We're saying you can be any type of princess. You can be a tiara-wearing princess, boy or girl. You just there are alternatives to that as well. So and the show really is our happily ever after. Our answer to Disney's happily ever after is you have to look like this, and your waist has to be smaller than your neck size, and the whole thing. Is our answer is no. Living happily ever after is loving yourself. For who you are. Just be perfectly you. That's our answer in Disenchanted. So, another question. Yes.
So my 2-year-old is obsessed with Frozen, which has a very different take on the Disney princess. What do you think about that? You gonna
Never
incorporate
heard of
Anna
it.
and Elsa?
Never heard of the movie. What you talking
What?
Just
Cool never
let it go. Let it go. It's fine. It's fine.
That's a great question. We actually have a Frozen joke in the show. Did you want to take this one on Frozen? Okay, great.
Well, I actually think that we're kind of on the cusp of getting this as a mainstream topic, and I think that Frozen is a really great example of that. So you have a lot of female-led comedy right now that's out, female-led casts, female-led dramas on TV. You also have these princesses that are stepping outside the normal role. So the whole thing about Frozen, there's no main love interest that saves the day. The sisters save each other through their own powers, even though they're supernatural powers, but whatever. So that is absolutely something that we're seeing us fit into that movement. And so to be kind of timed correctly to be in with that is really exciting. I actually sang on the Frozen Blu-ray of Frozen, so I'm in both worlds. It's crazy. But I think that that's one of the things that resonated with the audiences so much in Frozen is the girls were like, oh, it's just me. I can be a princess and it's just me. Everything is based around what I do, and that's kind of in the world right now, which is beautiful.
And Disney's making strides on that too. You've probably seen the ads where Disney's trying to redefine the word princess, and they'll put out a strong princess or two like Frozen or Brave, and then they'll turn out 10 more that are just like Cinderella. But afterwards, they go, there, we gave you one. And no, I think Disney is also making that turn too. When we started this 5 or 6 years ago, we were sort of ahead of that curve, and that was great to be. Now the wave has come in, and it's a good wave for everybody to ride. So it's a great question. Yeah.
Even sorry, I'm totally going to elaborate. The UN speech that Emma Watson made a while back, where they started the movement of you don't have to be a woman to be a feminist. All of that is in there. So you have kind of the highbrow conversation about it, and then you have the more mainstream conversation about it that we're kind of using Disney as a reference for, because everyone has that reference in their wheelhouse. So it's nice to kind of be that gateway for those conversations.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm going to elaborate on your elaborate, on my elaborate.
You guys,
but,
you know what? We're going to go.
Oh, okay. No. But no, this is not we want to be clear about it. It's not a Disney hating musical at all. As a matter of fact, I worked for Disney at Walt Disney World. You worked for Disney. You worked for Disney. I mean, quite a few of us up here have one of the producers, and the idea is that we just wanted to offer alternatives, as I've said before. But it's it's not Disney. I actually really like the Disney product. I just think it could be widened, and that's all we're doing. So yeah.
Yeah. Last question here.
Actually, that leads to my question. Has the Disney Corporation given you any flack for this?
Yeah, no, that's always a great question. The first question I usually get is, how'd you come up with it? And the second one is, do you have a good lawyer? And a lot of Disney higher-ups have come and seen the show. One specifically is a guy who has actually shut down other shows, or a bar named Grumpy's up in Michigan, I think. Yeah, and, a Disney lawyer loved the show. There's really nothing in this show that warrants any. It's a great question that warrants any kind of copyright infringement or legal action. As a matter of fact, I went to the same well that Disney did, which is the public domain princesses from the original fairy tales. We make it very clear. These are my versions of the princesses from the original storybooks, which are all in public domain. Disney has their versions. That's why it's called Disney's Snow White. This is Dennis Giacino's Snow White. And so there's that. And, of course, then there's always that First Amendment thing.
You don't actually say Disney in the show, do you?
A couple times.
Do you? Because I know you say Walt all the time.
Yeah, we say Walt. I
but
think
Walt could be
I think
anybody.
You say
it could be Walt Thompson's Cinderella, you know?
I think we're pretty clear which Walt we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And I say Mickey.
It can be Mickey Thompson, Walt's brother.
Right, there's some references, but again, it's a good loving poke, and at times it's almost an homage, really, to some of the the Disney over of princess films. But no, nobody has ever given us any trouble. As a matter of fact, they love it. They get it, just like everybody else does. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. We are out of time. If there are no more questions, go/Disenchanted discount to get your tickets, please. The show is wonderful. Again, West Side Theater upstairs on West 43rd, disenchantedmusical.com. Are you guys on the social medias?
Yeah.
Social medias.
What?
At Disenchanted NYC is our Twitter. Facebook is facebook.com/disenchantedmusical. Go join, and we don't bother you. We just you can go and see all the pictures, and there's backstage insider info and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you all. Oh,
we love it here. So anytime you want us back,
we
will come back.
All right.
Hell of a
It's
cafe.
really good.
Yeah.
Well,
The pizza was.
I had my entire week's worth of vegetables at the
Kind of
cafeteria, so I don't have to have any more this week.
And I
Froyo.
hear you have nap pods.
We do. We do.
It's awesome. It's like Sweden.
Hashtag it's like.
Hashtag.
All
It's
right.
like Sweden?
It's like Sweden.
It's
All
like
right.
Sweden.
Well,
Thank you for
everybody
having
give me a round
us.
of
Thank you
applause.
so much.
Thank you.